Hi folks, in this nightcap we're going to talk a little bit about the Sabres era and how it's coming to a close. Coming up. Alright guys, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I think out of habit I want to get these done ahead of time in case I got to check my computer. My glasses are all fogged. You know, I wanted to just have a quick video talking about how the Sabres era, and I marked it down here so I can see it. Let me just see. Yeah, I put the worst era in Sabres history is behind us now. And it is, okay? It is. The worst era in Sabres history is behind us. And I think it's time that we let it go. Because, you know, a lot of Sabres fans I see in other forums just talking about how Sabres are never going to do anything. And, like, these are Sabres fans saying this, not other fans, Sabres fans. And, you know, like, it's time to let it go. Really, it's time to let it go because we're going to get rewarded for it eventually. All the suffering, if you're a good fan and you tolerate all the suffering, you know, it's like Rocky against Apollo, right? And he gets punched in the head like 500 times, but he eventually wins the title, you know? And this is kind of what's going on, I believe, with our team, our franchise, our entire organization the last decade. We've been punched in the head over and over and over. I can't tell you how many times by fans, by media, by God knows what, you know, like you can go on and on, other teams, other franchises. I mean, we looked so bad at one time, you know, and I think the bottom of it is the thumbnail on my video. We hit bottom with Ralph Krueger. Ralph Krueger had sold me too in the beginning, folks. He did, because with him, if I had any doubts about him, because I wasn't crazy about some things about him, he seemed like a lost puppy to start with. But I wasn't sure, you know. And then I seen how Taylor Hall came to our team and, you know, Eric Stahl, and things were starting to look up. And I believed it was because Krueger. And I said, okay, well, this guy really must have like a real thing with, he's got Jack feeling happy. He's got, you know, Taylor Hall happy. And then the minute any kind of losing happened, he had no clue how to get out of it. And that for me, that was the end. That was the end of Krueger in my mind. I just wanted him fired. I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take looking at him, and I couldn't take his press conferences. There was so many things at the end, guys, it just drove me nuts. It just drove me crazy. It was so bad. We were so bad just two short seasons ago, really. You know, things were so bad that year, and I think we had to hit that bottom to finally realize we have to start over. We have to start over. As bad as it sounds, we had to start over because nothing was going to change. Well, I need some water, guys. Give me a sec. But if we can get to another level higher than last year, this year, that's going to be such a forgotten memory, even though it's only 2 years ago. So I'm looking at the whole picture, the whole picture. I'm looking back at Ralph Krueger tonight. It's one of those things I am. I'm looking back at it. What a nightmare it was. By the time it exposed how bad of a coach this guy was, by the time it was exposed, I think it was hard just to have any hope that even if, you know, there was no hope at the time. There was no hope. But there's always hope, you know? That's the thing. There's always hope. But while he was there was no hope at all. There was none. And what drove me nuts was how long it took Adams to fire him. But I think that's because he had the Pagulas as his friends. And you know how he is. Krueger was a nice guy, and, you know, they didn't want to hurt him. Like, who knows what it is? But you got to be cold sometimes. Say, listen, this ain't working, you know? And they had to move on from that. And once we moved on from Krueger, then from Jack and from Sam and these other players. Once we moved on, eventually, you know, another year later, it was the players, then or the coach, then it was certain players, and then reset, basically. We reset the team one more time. And this time it just feels right. It feels really good. I feel like that losing era is behind us now. I do. Even with last year. And I know last year was a losing season, but my goodness, we were supposed to be so much worse, you know? So I'm hoping we don't take a step back this year. We see the improvements but lose more games. That can happen going into a year like this. Don't forget, we're just not there yet. We're not there yet. Or we could jump leaps and bounds this year and surprise a lot of people. So we're going to have to figure out things. Got to get our captain. And you can give me 100 reasons why certain players shouldn't be the captain. Doesn't matter what we think. It matters what the general manager and the coach thinks, and they're going to make the right decision. Really, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be Dylan Cousins they put, and it wouldn't be the right call, I think. But we got to just believe they know what they're doing. Look, years ago when Colorado put Landeskog as their captain, he was, 19? And everybody said they're crazy for doing it, and look what just happened with Landeskog as their captain. See what I mean? No, you got to just trust your management knows more than you, or else forget it. You're already lost. I mean, I don't live in the delusion that I know more than our management. I mean, that's a delusional thinking to start with. It's like me trying to tell myself I can go have one beer tonight and I'll stop, or I'll have just half a beer. It's not going to pan out. If we go into this season and overachieve again, we're going to start expecting the overachieving thing to continue and continue and continue. We're not going to, it's not going to, what I'm saying is it's not an overachieve. If the Sabres go in there, I'm hoping, guys, for a 92-point season. I'm hoping to be 10 games over 500 this year. That's what I'm shooting for as a fan, really. And that would be a monster step for this franchise. A monster step. Just a season like that. I don't care about the playoffs, really. I'll care about it. Don't you think I won't down the stretch. But right now, if you're going to tell me we're going to finish 92 points and certain guys are going to have better years, everything's going to go pretty good. We're going to deal with adversity. We're going to have a strong finish again, which I want to see. I want to see a good finish. And if we do that again, I'll take that in a heartbeat right now. In a heartbeat. Playoffs or no playoffs. I'll take that because that would be such an important thing for this franchise to bury the past for good. We've got to bury this decade, not live in it, People like to live in negativity. A lot of people like to live in negativity. They think they're attracted to it. I'm not one of those people. I used to be. Then I got sober. And I understood how my mind worked, and I had to fix some things about my brain. How it adjusts, how it goes into repetitions with certain things. And I never was negative about the Sabres all my life, and it drove my friends nuts because I was very optimistic every year. I always was. I always was. I always believed that something good can happen with this franchise eventually, And it's weird because we came, I believe, the closest in our history. It felt like as close as 75, that 2006 team. That team was close to winning the Cup. And so was 99, but 2006 really hurt. That really hurt because of injuries. It's the only thing that stopped us was damn injuries. That was it. It wasn't bad calls or whatever it was. No, it was injuries, like just bad luck stopped us, bottom line, right? So now going into this season, and like I just talked about in the other video, Wayne was talking about like how it feels like Christmas is coming. I feel like that too. I feel like very excited about this season coming up because so many good things can happen finally. So many good things, so many twists and turns going our way finally. And it doesn't mean it'll happen, but it could. They showed signs last year before closing out that season that there's a heartbeat in that dressing room. That there's good leadership in that dressing room and that there's a good vibe now inside the franchise. Guys running into each other in the hallway or the owners or whatever it is. You can look at a lot of different ways you want to break it down, but nothing denies what we've seen. The way they played, the way they were structured down the stretch. This looked like a team on the rise last year, and I don't think I'm imagining it. I really don't. I don't think I'm imagining it. I would have caught the signs of it being a fake thing that's not real. Like I've been baited too many times by the Sabres in my lifetime. This time around, it felt real. Felt like, oh my goodness. Like, yeah, they are really a team that, tried everything. You guys seen, they weren't trying to tank last year. There was no tank in that team. I mean, management, everybody was on board to winning every game we could. So, You know, 7 games under 500 and going to 10 games over 500 is a 17 game over 500 turnaround. It's a big chunk. It is. You know, it is. It would be a really, you know, from 75 points to 92, we're talking 17-point difference. That's a big chunk in 1 year. Then the next year, we're talking playoffs. But I still, of course, before this year opens, guys, I want to make the playoffs. I do want to say that. I want to make the playoffs this year. So, because we're due. We're due. Things might fall into place, and all of a sudden, we just got this. You know, I'm wondering, and I'm going to close on this note, guys, tonight. Can we pull a 74-75 Sabres on the league this year? You go look at our record in 73-74, guys, and how we came of age in 74-75. There's your homework for tonight. Go check on NHL.com. Go check 73-74 and check our record and check what we did in 74-75, the year we went to the Stanley Cup Finals and our 5th year in existence. All right, guys. Done for the night. I'll see you folks tomorrow. I am going to get these videos up to you, and I got to run to the store with my little girl. Take her for a walk. See you then.